Oh shit. You go to bullshit. You gotta talk up. You know I'm an old man. You gotta talk up.
Introduce yourself, man.
Big Reg.
Now you talk up. We can't hear you.
Big motherfucking Reg.
For the dime moves and the locs, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you've been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf, I know them killers you kin to. This for the lost generation, broke as hell, man.
Lifting weights and I was on swole, they start calling me Big Miz.
Yeah, MacVideos, you know.
This is only the beginning.
What's your experience in the money game in California?
Listen, if you look at the money game now, all them cats from all over, they out here now. The ones that's serious about getting some money, they come out here because this is the land of opportunity as far as it's the #1 entertainment capital in the world. So you got to come through LA. Anything you do, rap, sing, act, whatever you want to do, you got to come through LA.
There's guys like Tootie Reese, you know, the old players in the game.
Yeah, that's family. Yep. Tootie, you know, my dad's Papa Blue, Suge, Real Suge, Shorty, Rolls Royce Shorty, you know, Papa Earl, you know, the list go on. Real players.
What about Dab?
Oh, Dab, that's my OG.
So these guys was in the game in the 60s, 70s?
Well, it depends when you're talking about. When you're talking about my father, Tootie, Suge, you're talking about in the 60s. You see, that's when it was the Slawsons, the Gladiators, and the Outlaws. And it's so funny because, you know, I saw one of your interviews and a lot of people didn't know on the west side where I come from, in that era, they were called the bartenders over there. So I go way back. And, you know, just to clear some things up, as far as like 20 Hood, what people don't understand, Schoolyard Hood was 20 Hood. Okay, don't let them tell you anything else. Schoolyard Hood used to be 20 Hood, and they moved across Crenshaw. Bibles, it was at Queen Anne. Okay, the first Crip gang over there was Bible Crips and Godfather Crips. Those were the first two. After that, it branched off to Marvin, Gear, and those, you know, the other little sets over there.
Where did you grow up at?
I grew up there on Pico. I grew up on Carmona and Washington. That's Marvin Hood.
So you was around before there was a schoolyard.
Man, I was waiting. Come on, man. See, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you some real games. Schoolyard Hood, it used to be red light. It used to be red light and moonlights and blue lights. Okay, the blue lights was in PBG Hood. You said that's what the blue lights was. The red lights was over there in 20 Hood, where, you know, over that way. That's how that went down. And everything was in the middle. Me and a couple of my partners, we had the Diamondbacks. We was Diamondbacks.
So, why Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
You know, it was just something that they, you know, we came up with in junior high school. You know, in junior high school, we all went to pastor. You know, everybody said, oh, we can't do, no. My mom, she used to be the bank supervisor at Bank of America on the corner of Adams and La Brea, where the Girl Scout thing is now, but that used to actually be a Bank of America. My mother was a supervisor there. So I was forced to go to Cienega because Cienaga's down the street. So that's when me and LaRue, you know, we come up from 3 years old, because a big lady named Big Mama used to babysit us across the street. And so, you know, we grew up and stuff like that. But at the end of the year, as I grown up, and, you know, in a little elementary, we used to always go up to Marvin and fight. Okay, it used to be a place called Balin's Market right there on the corner of Adams and Hauser, right on the corner, right? And we'll walk up to, you know, up to Balin's, and the last day of school, Marvin and Cienega fight. And we just fight and get out. So, you know, I was at Cienega. So my mom, when she transferred to the credit union, she put me in Marvin, right? So I get over to Marvin, but I knew everybody. You know, so, you know, I did what I did, but, you know, my two partners was Wicked and Nolan. You know, they was my partners. You know, so, you know, they used to watch me whoop on motherfuckers, and then, you know, I never fought them. To this day, they're my brothers. And, you know, I was there. You know, so, you know, when they talk about, I was fortunate enough that I didn't realistic, you had to get in the gang world because, you know, I was really raised by players, pimps, hustlers, killers, or whatever the case may be. So it really didn't mean nothing to me. So I've been through all them hoods over there. You know, like where we stayed at on Washington and Carmona, I used to walk straight up Hauser, and then I'd be in Gear Hood. Right over the railroad tracks, we dip down where Wright front used to be. We go through the back gate to get the ball.
So back to what you was talking about. Do you remember the whole...
Hey, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Kev, man, how do you got a brain like that you can think about what we was talking about over there?
A little bit.
Okay, I'm just trying to check.
But you raised a question in my head about the whole stroll on Adams and Washington back then. You remember
the
that?
whole stroll was on Washington.
And La Brea?
Okay. And you know, La Brea down there, people if you was lucky, you would get to Redondo. But that little sector right there, yeah, that's where see what people, like to these youngsters, the whole stroll, you know, was back then. You see what I'm saying? But right there, back in the day, it wasn't none of that. Okay, when the crack epidemic came, that's when it became a whole stroll because you had strawberries and whatever the case may be. That's when they turned down. A lot of these cats, you know, they was too young. They don't really know what was really going on over there because right there on the corner, across the street where the post office is, that used to be a club called the Parisian Room.
The Parisian Room was an old-style LA jazz supper club located on Washington and La Brea in the heart of Los Angeles, where comedians like Red Fox, Reynaldo Ray, and Moms Mabley, who would begin the show and warm up the patrons for jazz giants like Nancy Wilson, Dina Washington, Billy Taylor, Dakota Staton, and other great artists. Live music venues managed to keep their doors open for years on the Hollywood Strip, but clubs off the main drag in LA tend to come and go. A post office now stands on the site of the Parisian Room. The great old night spot that operated on La Brea and Washington for years is nothing but a distant memory for some nowadays, but forever a staple in the LA urban community, nightlife, and jazz.
Okay, that was the Parisian Room. If you go a block east after La Brea, you had Tommy Tucker Playroom. That's where Roscoe's was created.
Tommy Tucker's Playroom was located at 4907 West Washington Boulevard, near La Brea Avenue.
You see what I'm saying? If you want to go to the Midtown, it was GG Casuals, Thrifties, and it used to be like a little carnival there called Tinkertown. See, if they ain't mentioned Tinkertown, they ain't no real West Side baby.
Man, mentioning Tommy Tucker, you a real West Side baby.
Yeah, well, I'm a real West Side baby.
So you knew all about the club scene and everything.
Well, the club scene, my father had the page 4. You see what I'm saying? When Lonnie first came out here, he opened up the Total Experience. Demetrius had Disco 9000. You know, the first club that I did was called Flanagan's, was in the Marina.
And Lonnie was part of what, the Gap Band?
Yeah, no, Lonnie is the one that basically discovered the Gap brand. Total Experience record, Lonnie Simmons. Mm-hmm. So me and his sons, we grew up together. They stayed on Carmona with me. You know, Winfred and Lonnie Simmons. Mm-hmm. Lonnie Jr.
Mm-hmm. So what can you tell me about the dope game, man? When did you get introduced to it? And when do you remember it coming to LA?
What do you mean coming to LA?
The crack.
Oh man, the crack. See, people get things, you know, crack back in the day in the 70s and the late, well, mid 70s, they used to freebase. You see what I'm saying? I've seen some of the richest cats, I ain't gonna say their name because they family, you know, they'd go through a half a key and eat. You see what I'm saying? Dope wasn't as like when the dopes came in the late 70s, like in 79, you know, that's when it started getting crazy, mixing with the chemicals and all that shit, stretching it.
Do you know the prices back then for a kilo of cocaine?
Man, you talk about it. No, it wasn't that far. It was like 33, 34. You know, it fluctuated back then. It depends what you was getting. Because they come in basketballs back then. You know, they'd be, you know, like a little basketball. That's how it used to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Man, quit playing, Kev. Mac, ask what the fuck you want to ask. Let's get to it.
I'm trying to think. But
I got a question,
go ahead,
though.
go
I
ahead.
want to go back to when you made the statement, the real Suge. Tell us about Suge.
It's Raymond Wright.
And give us a little more detail about who he was as an individual.
He was a statue, you know, he was, you know, that's Mr. Businessman himself, South Park.
So if you had to put him on a level, what level would he be on as far as the game? You know,
As far as the game?
About Tootie Reed's, Papa Bro,
All them, yeah, but see, all them,
Blue.
yeah, all them, you know, they was on the same scale to me. You see what I'm saying? I don't, anybody that's making money back then, you know, Fast Eddie was making a whole bunch of money. He had the quiet money. You see what I'm saying? I know how these dudes work because they raised me. Because, you know, I was really raised by these cats. Cats that these people talk about, they really raised me. So my attitude and my understanding about them as men is different from somebody that just heard about them or their aunties know them or uncles know them. You see what I'm saying? I was really raised by these dudes.
We talking about Fast Eddie's Steakhouse?
Yeah, Steakhouse, Fast Eddie's.
Before Mel asks you another question, tell me a little bit about Fast Eddie. Who was he?
Man, Fast Eddie was a player. You know, all them cats is players. You see what I'm saying? What they care about is some money and some pussy. You know, just keep it real. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, they was players. But, you know, if you caught on and understood them as just men and what they did for the communities, you see what I'm saying? You have a better understanding of them. You know, Fast Eddie used to do a lot for his community. Tootie did a lot for his community. My dad did a lot for his community. It wasn't just hood. I mean, from, like, if you know, I know you do, if you know anything about, you know, my folks, you can't, you know, you got cats from Compton all over that love them cats. You see what I'm saying? You know, cats come from D.C. They love Pops. They love Tootie. They love Suge and them. So, you know, you talking about that whole East Coast part, the real motherfuckers. They used to come to L.A. party, you know, do what they do, get their little money.
How did Felix Mitchell fit into that?
Felix is in a, see, you got to understand, when you go to Pops and them, you know, then you got a level. After that level was Felix, because he was the next underground. You see what I'm saying? You consider Felix, he would have been like, he's in the Sam, if you know Sam, you know, he's in that, he's in, you know, 65, 66, 67. He would have been that old, maybe 70. So he was in that, actually, you got to, under that is us. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it was levels. You know, it's a generation. Let's just say generation. So every 10 years, it's a generation span on that. But Felix, you know, he was doing his thing. You know, he was a youngster. That's when he was a youngster. You know, but, you know, Suge, you know, that was Suge's boy.
Raymond Burke.
Yeah. You trying to talk Melvin Burke. Look at you, trying to sneak all these cats in. Huh? You can't sneak them in on me. I hear everything. Trust me. Yeah.
But that's good, man. So when you talked about the page 4, there also was the Blueberry Hill.
The Blueberry Hill, next door to that, and then it was the Hamburger City.
Location in Los Angeles.
Now they used to call Santa Barbara. Back then, it was right there on Santa Barbara between Crenshaw and La Brea.
That was like the Mecca for the West Side, Santa Barbara back then, which is Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah, basically, because people don't understand, you got to understand the history of LA. Once again, we get back to that, and especially is where we came from. When blacks came to Los Angeles, they migrated where they called that now is Skid Row, and that was up Central. Okay, Central, they called Central Ave Little Harlem, because that's where all the black musicians used to come play in the 30s and all the way up until this city. What happened, once, you know, everything started moving around, Central Ave was hot. Then they went to Avalon. From Avalon, they went to Broadway. From Broadway, went to Figueroa. From Figueroa, we went to Normandy. From Normandy, we went to Western. From Western, we went to Crenshaw. From Crenshaw, went to La Brea. Hey, that's how, you know, we came from the east to the west. You know, that's what happened in LA kids. You see what I'm saying? So your parents, 9 times out of 10, they was from the east side of Watts. Because back in the day, Watts used to be all white.
Let me go a deeper question, man. Don Dimas, right?
Who?
Don Dimas. Magazine Don.
Yeah.
They do.
They're my little partners.
But they
used to rap. That's some cold shit.
They do a lot of articles on people from the west. I mean, from the east. But seldom do they focus on the west side.
They can't. Why would they do that? Well, you gotta understand, they don't know this over here. See, you guys think just because they do something over there, they do something. This is your guys' home. You feel me? You guys have somewhat of a pulse on what's going on in the city. You see what I'm saying? They don't have no pulse over there, what's going on over here. Just like we don't have a pulse on what's going on over there.
But at some point, you gotta be willing to reach and get to the people that's really about that life.
Well, but you gotta look at, like, who's really about that life? You see what I'm saying? Who's really about that life? People gotta learn to start taking things. It's just like people ask me, you know, Reg, why you never gangbang? And I asked, for what? You see what I'm saying? All the gang members I knew, I didn't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? I was laced different way. You see what I'm saying? And these cats are smart cats.
So under the tutelage of all these guys, Keno, Tootie, Papa Earl.
Oh, you all brought up Keno's funky ass too.
Yeah. So you under, of course, your dad, Papa Blue. I call you Papa Blue Jr. all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's who you are.
Yeah.
So, but under the tutelage, under these big old players, man, what was the one thing that you took from all of them that helped you elevate to the next level? If you can explain it.
Mannerism.
That was important.
Mannerism. They taught you, you know, back then, they did what they did, but they taught you obedience. They taught you morals of the game. You see, when they say you old school, because they really taught you how to be a man. A lot of these cats, see, you have to look at it. When the crack hit, okay, when that crack epidemic hit, so you're talking about a 2-year-old boy and his 5-year-old sister. The sister was taking care of her little brother because mom and dad was out there smoking crack. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with them kids, but how they grew up on survival. They had to survive. That's when they used to put water in cornflakes and shit, because, you know, you're talking about a 5-year-old girl, she don't know how to cook. Only thing she see what her mama used to do for her before her mother went to the, you know, the crack game.
Have you ever ate a ketchup sandwich?
Yeah, what?
Have you ever ate a ketchup sandwich?
Me?
Yes.
You know what I used to eat though? A butter sandwich. Shit, not a ketchup, but a butter.
How does mannerism differentiate from then to now? Do we still have it, or is it a lost art?
We have it. These youngsters have it, but a lot of these youngsters, you know, see, one thing that I've noticed about these youngsters now, you know, they're hungry for knowledge. You see what I'm saying? You know, I never gangbanged, but when I was in the pen, I mean, you know, shit, you know, like them youngsters, they come and gravitate to me. You know, cats that got murders and in there all day, they come and I had to talk to them. You know, I let them know the real. You see what I'm saying? You know, and that's what they're missing. They're missing people like yourself. You see what I'm saying? You're OG to sit down with these youngsters and get to understand them. I was fortunate enough to understand them because they knew my status as far as what I used to do in the music game. So it was easy for me to open up their ears for them to listen to me. So I say, oh, Big Reds, what's up? Da, 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 da. Can they rap? I let them rap, do what they need to do. But then we're gonna talk about some real life issues. A lot of these cats, you know, and I blame certain generations for that. You lead these cats. You lead by example. Like when you guys talk about Tootie, Blue, all them dudes, you know, we learned. We wasn't just sitting around. That's why certain cats.
Soaking it up, man.
Well, we soaked it up because that's what we was raised to do. So if you see everybody that was winning back then, look where they came from and look what they were soaking up.
I definitely learned how to dress, walk,
yeah.
talk.
So you look at it. So this is how you go. So you got my kids, right? So kids my age. So I say anything from say 40 down, right? So you talking about that age group was my age group that was having these kids that's 30 and 40 now. We were in jail. So we didn't have no guides as far as how to become men or young ladies. You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand. So you talking about in the 80s when we all got swooped up, you see what I'm saying? Some of us already had kids. So we gone for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. That generation, we didn't have that guidance. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, my dad raised Steve, you know, Whitey. My dad raised Harry O. You see what I'm saying? My dad raised them East Side cats. You see what I'm saying? So it's different because they had some sort of guidance on how to make money, and this is what it was about.
Talk to me about Papa Earl.
That's just OG. You know, that's granddaddy. That ain't old as everybody. He old as dirt. He sells it. But real, he was basically he was a money man. You see what I'm saying? That was his hustle. He was I wouldn't call him a long shot. You see him, but you know, he was a money man. I
made that mistake because I was like,
yeah, no, you can't. No, that's what he wasn't. You see what I'm saying? You know, see, you got certain type of cats. Okay, you know, you just like Kev Mac can be up right now, and tomorrow he can be down. But he know to go to, you know, say, hey, you know, you go Papa Earl, I need 30. Okay, boy, you just better bring my money back and bring me a couple extra dollars. That was his favorite line. You see what I'm saying? And he'll give it to you. You see what I'm saying? He'll give you that. You see what I'm saying?
You know what's surprising to me about Papa Earl, not to mean to cut you off, is that a lot of people didn't know he owned most of them junkyards.
No, they didn't know nothing about that because he was getting his money. That's Red Sanford. Yeah. Sanford is a
And then he bought all that beach property in Dana.
Yes. But see,
Very
was smart.
businessman.
Yeah, but see, a lot of them cats are smart. See, back in the day, you know, see, people don't understand. They used to have ranches. Like my dad had a ranch. Tootie had a big ass ranch. You know, Suge, Rosewood, they had ranches. You know, you go out there and ride horses and bullshit.
Where was these ranches located at? What
They
states?
was out in the valley.
Valley.
Yeah, they was in the valley area. Some was up in Compton. You know, in Watch. You know, they just had ranches. You know how they did it. That's what they used to do.
Is it true that Pops got caught coming across the border?
Who?
Your Pops.
Yeah.
How many birds did he get caught with, or accused of being caught with? A ton of cocaine.
Ton of cocaine, man. I don't even like talking about that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Papa Blue, man, he was in MDCLA when I was there, and that was that was like, you know what I mean? That was like Kev Mac homeboy, Milkshake, Milky.
Yeah.
Like made me aware of who Papa Blue was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, you know, Papa Blue put your other homeboy in the game, Waco. You see what I'm saying? You know, that was Pop's boy. You know, Wake. You know, Pops put him in. Pop put a lot of these cats in the game. He just wouldn't fuck with me because I cuss him out, and he'd beat my ass because he was my daddy.
That's why you little Papa Blue, man.
Oh no, you know what I do? What? Let me tell you what little Papa Blue do. Stay the fuck out the way. That's what I do. Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
Okay. You better wait, let me say something to you.
Right now.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Big brother, you guys better get every motherfucking thing you want out of me, because you ain't gonna call me Reg. We ain't gonna do all that. So you should have had all your notes. You should have had all your little shit together and did it right.
Okay. I'm gonna put you all right there.
Yeah. Look at this. You guys, you know what that is?
Let me see that.
There's your crew right there. They just sent me the picture. Nolan, you see Pops, you see Kamasi. Yeah, all right there. That's just now. They just sent it to me.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Can I have that picture?
Can you have it? I'm gonna put it right here so these people can see what it is.
See it. Put it up.
Tell me about Frank Matthews, man.
That's OG. Can you get that?
Nah. Hey, I mean, you can see it, but it ain't. Send it to mail when you get it.
Yeah, so basically, you know, today was Lil Doc. You know, Lamar Holiday, Doc Holliday's son, his baby. You know, he passed a few weeks ago, so today was his funeral.
Today? I mean, we had the funeral today, of course.
Yeah, the funeral is going on now. They just sent me the picture that they had.
Doc Holliday Jr.
Yeah, well, you got James and you got, you know, Lamar. He died. He's the baby boy. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Papa Rowe. I'm telling you, Papa Rowe.
Yeah, Papa Rowe was.
I spent a lot of time with Papa Rowe.
Yeah, Frank. You know, he from back east.
Okay.
But Pops, you know, all them used to deal with
Frank
him.
Lucas and
all that shit.
Frank Matthews may be the most elusive fugitive in American history. At one point, 9 men and 4 women were on trial and accused of being the backbone of Matthews' operation. They were charged in a 9-count indictment with conspiracy to import and distribute multi-million-dollar amounts of heroin and cocaine. According to prosecutors, the ring operated a drug mill at 01 East 56th Street in Brooklyn, New York, that marketed the entire eastern seaboard with narcotics.
Man, y'all really was with the big hitters, man.
Well, I mean, they big hitters. You know, they listen. You a big hitter.
Nah, you know what I mean in the game.
Well, it's not about being.
Hey,
you
man,
can be in the game if you want to go there.
Yeah, I was in the game. I got the 1 bird, man, not 500 of them.
Yeah, but you know, like, you know, 1 bird. See, what people don't understand, like, people ask me, like if you look at a lot of cats that's my age and whatever, you know, I've been consistent like this for 30 years, 35 years. You see what I'm saying? So it's about consistency. You go up and down in life. You know, it's about understanding life in general. You see what I'm saying? This, you know, like I did, you know, back then I get my little 5 and 10 birds, but see the difference between me, I chopped them all up in dubs. You see what I'm saying? While them dudes are making $1,000 off a kilo, I'm making way more money than that. But a lot of these cats didn't have kids. You know, I had babies. You know, my baby, like I said.
Was all those skills transferable? Because you went from there to the music business. And let us ask this question, Reggie. How did you get your first deal?
From Eric.
Eric who?
Eric Wright, Eazy.
And that's Eazy-E from where?
From Compton. You know
Straight
where
out
he's
of
from.
Compton?
Straight the fuck out of Compton. That was my boy.
Tell us about that deal.
Oh man, here we go. We're going back to Ramona's. You see what I'm saying? So you know, me and Eric, we met at Ramona's Burritos right there on Western, and we just start talking. We start chopping it up, in line. And I just gave him a better deal. You know, he was messing with somebody big out of Compton, and you know, I just said, man, I'll give you a better price, and that's how I started that relationship with Eric. So you know, when they rounded everybody up, you know, in the late '80s. Unfortunately, I was one they rounded up, but they really couldn't do too much to me, so they just threw everything at me. You see, so I had to fight everything. Anything that you can imagine, I had to fight. So, you know, when they wrapped us all up in the late '80s, and some of these cats are just now coming home and stuff like that, it's when you look at the individuals, you see what I'm saying? Because you gotta know who the individuals are. You know, you got to be consistent. It's not about being rich, poor, or none of that. It's all about consistency. You see what I'm saying? If I'm consistent enough to say, if you're gonna say fuck Big Reg, it's fuck Big Reg. You see what I'm saying? Be consistent with me, because I look at this shit. You know, I look at this shit real. You know, what you guys doing out here with this podcast and stuff, that shit's real shit. And you guys doing some great jobs. How I look at, what you guys is trying to do as far as the media world is, the way that you guys can create the content that really matters. Because, you got your boy, what's his name? Charlamagne? Is that his name?
Charlamagne the God.
Okay, so you look at that cat, right? He doing his thing, whatever, but how many of you guys know that iHeart gave him a whole bunch of money to snatch up little podcasters like you? Am I right, Kev Mac?
I heard something like that.
No,
yeah.
you ain't heard. I'm telling you some real life shit.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? My thing is, we over here, we can do that shit ourselves.
Yeah, right.
See, but one thing about East Coast cats, they know how to work together. Us over here, we so separated and divided because everybody's trying to be something that really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Why are we so competitive against one another when the whole world's in competition against us?
For the simple fact, see, what I mean by consistency.
Get down.
Look at you. There you go, showing your ass again. But when it comes down to, everything comes down to consistency. You just can't now start getting money and then you can do this and do that. Yeah, well, all that's cool. But you gotta be consistent on what you do now, in the world. I can go to, I go to the East Coast, I fuck with them out there. You see what I'm saying? I'll be out there 3-4 months and have fun with them. I never had no problem. But I come home and I don't have no problems because I really don't fuck with too many cats. You see what I'm saying? But the problem is, you see the difference. We can't stick together as a whole. You got to understand, we allow cats from other cities come to LA, fuck our bitches, excuse me, have sex with our women, make money, start shit, and go home. We can't go to their states and do that shit. You see what I'm saying? We have to have more discipline on what we got over here. Because at the end of the day, LA is the bag. And if you utilize the bag the correct way, a lot of the black community will be rich.
Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you saying we allow individuals to come out of town, stick a key in our bag, wind it up, and start us up? Basically.
Straight up. You see what I'm saying? Because you got to look at what's going on. A lot of these, a lot of shit's going on. This ain't they try to make it like on some hood shit. You see what I'm saying? But it really ain't no hood shit. You see what I'm saying? How we regulate LA.
One more thing, Red.
You got to look at one thing about LA. We have what, 38? How many prisons we got, Kev, man? 36, 37?
There are currently 35 adult prisons in the state of California.
Okay, so realistically, we surrounded by prison. California is a prison state. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? People looking at, oh, it's fun, man. This is all bullshit. It's a prison state. You go to prison out here, you fuck for the rest of your life. But we have some of the smartest, intelligent gang members and non-gang members in the world. You see what I'm saying? We're born leaders. And that's not taking nothing away from the East Coast, but you have to look at it for what it is. And cats on the East Coast, they come over here, they was out here getting whatever they was getting back in the day from us. You know why? Do anybody understand why they was coming from the East Coast to come here? Because we had that border. So our prices are lower. So they come out here, get it out there, and they quadruple the price. So yeah, they getting some real serious cash out there.